Hi everyone, welcome back to Storytime Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the film from 2022, Old People. Without any further, let's get started. This suspense movie starts on a rainy evening when we observe an elderly man in a wheelchair listening intently to a weather report on the radio that calls for a heat wave and a rise in temperatures across Germany. Shortly after, during one of her regular visits, a young nurse from elder care notices that the wheelchair is empty and the main entrance is unlocked. She begins to search for him. Shortly afterward, the elderly man emerges from behind her and strikes the nurse with an oxygen cylinder. He then strikes her again and again until she passes away. Next, in an attempt to vent his agony, he goes to his window and shouts violently. The following scene features a family, a mother named Ella, her son Noah, and her daughter Laura. The three of them are traveling to Ella's hometown to attend her sister Sanna's wedding. Noah then says he can't wait to see his father, who is living apart from his mother, and his distant grandfather. Ellie's ex-husband Lucas is seen elsewhere bidding his girlfriend Kim farewell. Kim works at a retirement community in their town and is called to duty. Ella and her kids arrive at their family home and are welcomed by Sanna and her fiancé Malik. Following everyone's arrival, Ella asks Sanna regarding their father. Since they both relocated to the city, Sanna explains, their father has been living at the retirement home in the village. Ella was shocked to hear this since she hasn't spoken to her father since he became enraged with her for divorcing Lucas. Ella later decides to invite her father to the wedding along with Sanna and Noah. Ella observes that the remote village went through major changes since she left, and Sanna says that the younger generation in the village has left for big cities, leaving behind just the elderly. Soon after, they meet Lucas, and Noah is overjoyed to see his father. However, Ella becomes very nervous when she talks to her ex-husband. When they arrive at the retirement home, they find that it's in poor condition and that the residents seem strange. There aren't enough nurses to take care of the residents, so the old just sit around doing nothing. Ella nervously shakes Kim's hand shortly after they encounter her. Kim reports that the facility is in disorder as a result of severe shortages of workers, and as a result, they are forced to tie the elderly to their beds in order to prevent them from hurting themselves. Noah goes to his grandfather Ike in the meantime, but he ignores him and continues to stare out the window. Ella and Sanna follow shortly after, and when Ella hugs her father and says she's sorry for leaving him, the elderly man breaks down in tears. They let Ike know that Sanna getting married and he will come with them. Laura sneaks off with her boyfriend Alex to enjoy some fun somewhere else. He leads her into the woods where he shows her a 2,000-year-old stone edifice built in remembrance of the spirits of their ancestors. According to him, it was made to condemn and shield intact families from those who mistreat and forsake their elders. In addition, Alex shows Laura the area on the stone where Lucas and Ella inscribed their love during their adolescence. Laura finds this upsetting because her parents are no longer together. Everyone is happy for Sanna and Malik's marriage that evening at the local church, with the exception of the elderly, who only look at them. Lucas asks Ella if it was worth to divorce him in order to move to the city amid the festivities. Noah and Laura, however, rush inside before she can respond, inviting them to dance to their family song. The four of them then dance to a song that Lucas and Ike used to sing together as a family. Kim, who is obviously envious, watches them from a distance, so Lucas runs to console her and gives her a kiss. At the same time, elderly residents of the retirement community gather at the window to enjoy the music during the celebration. They are told to go to sleep because they were not invited to the party by a male nurse who just entered the room. A second nurse hears a noise at the same moment and checks the basement, where she finds an elderly woman chewing on an electrical line. However, the elderly woman cuts the line, extinguishing the light, before she can take any action. The male nurse attempts to put the elderly woman to sleep upstairs, but she becomes angry and bites him, throwing him against a table. In a fit of wrath, the other elderly residents of the room stab the nurse with broken glass, and the nurse from the basement enters the room and attempts to call for assistance. But after a strange elderly man knocks her out and the man reads the wedding invitation that Sanna brought earlier, they rush toward the wedding, killing everyone they come across, As the celebration comes to an end and the heavy rain starts at home, one by one the guests depart.
Ich hab dich lieb, große Schwester. Ich dich auch.
After Ella puts Noah to bed, he tells her that dancing as a family was the highlight of the evening. Simultaneously, the newlyweds head to the right next cabin where Malik has organized a romantic night for them. As the couple is getting intimate, this frightening old people leader breaks into the house, grabs a steel ball, and attacks them in their bedroom. He throws Santa down the stairs and attacks Malik viciously before killing her as well. The plot then moves to Ella. She is awakened by the sound of screaming coming from a distance and startled to discover Laura gone from her bedroom after hearing the door close. After seeing her daughter, Ella feels reassured despite her fear. Laura then informs Ella about the elderly people, and they go to the window to verify what Laura says. Suddenly, in the next room, piano begins to play, and when they investigate, they find that Ake is playing a disquieting melody. Meanwhile, Kim and Lucas meet an elderly resident of the retirement community in a field on their way home. Later, when they approach the village, they see numerous cars carrying deceased people. Lucas and Kim are able to flee before being attacked by enraged elderly people who are spotted killing and battling young people who are passing through the area. One of the gang members who pursues Lucas with an axe does so shortly after. Ella opens the door after hearing a knock in the next scene to see an elderly guy outside. The man then hands her a document that says they will either be cursed or obey their elders. Laura observes a strange woman and summons her mother. The woman then crawls away, frightening the two of them. As Ella tells Laura to go inside and stay with Noah while she goes to check on her sister. But when Ella gets to the cabin, she's shocked to see Santa and her husband dead. Then, the elderly folks swear at her, forcing her to jump out of the window. As Ella gets closer to the house, Lucas and Kim also appear. Ella begins to cry out of fear and panic right away, but they are forced to retreat inside when they see a large group of elderly people approaching them. Laura lets them in right away, but because Noah has gone missing, they can't find him or Ake. Despite Lucas's displeasure, Ella becomes outraged and takes her father's revolver to confront the elderly because she is determined to find her son. She does not let this stop her, either, and as soon as she steps outside she sees elderly people carrying weapons and torches. She pulls a revolver on an unknown old man and wants to know where her son is. Ella asks where her kid is, noticing Ike among them, and when he doesn't answer, Ella throws him to the ground. Lucas, on the other hand, holds her back and makes her go back to the house. The terrible old guy and his friends enter the house as Ella is fighting the bloodthirsty old people. Inside, Kim finally shows her true colors and begs the elderly man not to kill her because she has been a wonderful caregiver for them. Then, when she requests him to harm Laura instead, the elderly begin to pursue her. Shortly after, Ella returns home with Lucas after hearing Laura's startled shouts. Kim admits that it was his fault for leaving Laura alone when Lucas urges her to explain how Laura was kidnapped. After that, while searching for their daughter, Lucas and Ella killed two of the elderly people, one of whom was acting like a zombie. As soon as they enter the kitchen, they see that an elderly man is attacking Laura. Lucas goes to help and tackles the elderly man, but he is swiftly overcome. Ella tries to shoot him, but the old man uses the metal sphere to knock her out. Laura then attempts to attack the elderly man while her father is being choked, but she is struck in the face and falls to the ground. The elderly guy is knocked unconscious shortly after Ella regains consciousness and crashes his face on his head. They bind him and inquire as to Noah's whereabouts, but the old man remains silent. Ella is now enraged and points her revolver at him. It is only then that the man asks her if she sees an animal or a person in him, speaking for the first time. Declares that he would rather die than live like an animal. Just then, Noah appears out of nowhere and claims that he has been hiding in the attics, where Ake had taken him. Suddenly, his asthma gets worse, and the family gathers to keep him stable and comfortable. Kim watches in jealousy, feeling left out, as the family gives each other hugs in relief. Ella suggests that they depart in the morning once Noah recovers, because leaving at this time would be a terrible decision given his health. Later, as Ella leaves to use the restroom, Kim follows and accuses Ella of being jealous, saying that Lucas still talks about Ella in his sleep and that she will never be enough for him. Ella is also held responsible for the chaos, since everything was perfect before Ella left.
Das ist alles erst.
When Kim slams the flashlight over her head, Ella is left unconscious on the front porch. Ella hears her father telling her to keep quiet a few moments later when she wakes up. She then bangs on the door to get her family's attention. Kim attempts to swallow the door key, but Lucas seizes it and pulls Ella inside. As the elderly try to break into the house, they stab Lucas in the thigh. As Lucas clings to the door despite being repeatedly stabbed, Laura grabs a fire extinguisher and sprays the elderly. Kim becomes upset, understanding that Lucas will never love her as much as he loves his family. Ella is able to go inside and be with her family after Kim goes upstairs and leaps out of the window in an attempt to divert the attention of the elderly people who will soon kill her. But Lucas dies instantly after the attack, having suffered severe injuries. Laura tells Ella about the underground tunnel leading to the cabin in the house, while Ella is overcome with grief. Ella and her children find a secret tunnel to escape, but the elderly people are after them as they search for the concealed door beneath the piano. Not long after, Ella gets caught by elderly man and tells her kids to move on without her. As Noah and Laura exit from the tunnel and enter the cabin, the morning light has already appeared and Laura's phone is ringing with new messages about angry elderly people popping up all across the nation. After receiving several calls from Alex, she promptly gets in touch with him again, telling Laura to meet him at the beaches as soon as possible since they need to leave the area. After that, Laura and Noah try to leave the house, but they end up running into Ike. She raises a gun to him because she's scared he'll kill her grandfather, but all of a sudden, an odd man jumps on her and places his knife on her throat. Laura starts singing their family song, and Noah joins her as she begs him to close his eyes and accept her dying. Just then, we witness the man trembling as he struggles to hold on to the knife, while Ike watches with tears in his eyes. Even though the grandfather was only saving his grandchildren, Ike eventually steps in and shoots him, perhaps in an effort to stop more bloodshed. Noah and Laura coolly remove the gun from his grasp. When Noah asks if he'll injure them, Ike unexpectedly says he can never hurt them since he loves them. The three then dash to the shore, where Alex is waiting for them at his boat. The four decide to trust Alex still, and as they leave on the boat, they see large groups of elderly people, who resemble zombies, gathering on the beach. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.